What's going on, everybody? This is What's the Key, a podcast where I talk to musicians who have unlocked some of the doors. I am Broadway B. I'm your host. You know, one of the biggest cheat codes for success is getting around people who are super successful and then learning what it is that they do. And that is what some of our guests have been able to do. They have gotten around some of the biggest names in entertainment, and this is what they've learned.
With SZA, I haven't done any music stuff with SZA,
Right.
But I've done some cool video stuff.
Right. Y'all did some stuff in Hawaii, like some video stuff.
Yeah. So she was there working on, she was there recording her project.
Yeah.
The one that ended up coming out like a year later.
Okay.
And we went out, because Punch was going out, so I
Is that the
basically...
one with Kill Bill and...
Yeah. But this is like way early in the process.
Yeah.
She was out there working, and Punch was going out there. He was like, I'm going to Hawaii next week. So I was like, yo, can I pull up? He was like... He didn't want to say yeah. I was like, I'll buy a ticket. So I bought a ticket. I knew he was going to see SZA, but I was like, I ain't never been to Hawaii before.
Right.
And you going? Let me just figure. I'll show up. I know he ain't gonna let me be homeless out there, so
Yeah.
I'll figure it out. So I bought a ticket. I live in LA. A ticket to Hawaii from LA ain't that expensive when you actually when you start looking into it.
Okay.
Bought a ticket. Went out there. We worked on some stuff. We shot some content for our stuff. And then we were around like SZA while she was recording. I didn't really work with her out there. I was like in the studio, like just being around, but I didn't really work with her out there.
Okay.
Most of it happened when we came back, and like the last 2 months of her recording and finishing up the project before it came out. So the project came out in December of 23. Mm-hmm. So let's say from like October 23 to December 23, I was just in the studio every day with them.
Nice.
And recording her, finishing up the last records. I was recording playback she was having for different streaming companies and publishers, so like big meetings. The CEO of RCA Records is in there. One of the coolest things that I captured, and it was really dope, and really a testament of like how valuable Punch is. It was Punch, the engineer Rob, who's also like one of the main producers on the album. Mm-hmm. Like the other 3 or 4 producers she works with all the time, Cody, Carter, and I guess Rob is the other one. And her other manager, Melissa, which is all in the room, just basically putting the album together and like sequencing, track list, what songs are good enough, not like good or bad, like what songs fit in what pocket, like what 3 songs should go together. So when you listen to SOS, the SZA album, it's all like meticulously crafted. I ain't really have a lot to do with it. I was in there recording and filming it, and I kind of made like, there was really no plan. Punch was like, start recording. I started recording, and I kind of made my own documentary out of it. It's super dope. The only bad thing is it hadn't come out, so we shot like, I got 2 months of footage and several hours of really cool stuff behind the scenes of that project, but hadn't come out yet. Hopefully it'll come out eventually. Even if it comes out in like 10 years, like the Kanye thing did. I think it's called Genius. Even if it comes out in 10 years, I'm still super proud of it. It was really cool to watch the process, and I'm sure her fans will be very happy to see it one day.
Hell yeah. What did you pick up or learn from watching that process?
A couple things that I already knew, but it's, you feel like you know something, and then when you see somebody who's really successful do the same thing, you're like, I knew I was right. And so I saw a lot of reproduction of records, meaning they'd have a song and they'd have a beat, and then like a day before they send it to get mixed, Rob, the engineer, is like, yeah, we're going to replay the drums on this tomorrow. And it's like, yo, this song getting mixed tomorrow. He's like, yeah, we changing the drums. It's like that kind of stuff for, one of the biggest albums of the past decade. He's like, last minute change the day before. And then same thing, like I said, with Punch, is like changing the order of songs like the day before, the week before, and, just really like dialing in on stuff and making last minute changes to fix the stuff. So that's one of the main things I picked up. Another main thing I picked up is that this is just incredible. Like, I was already like a giant fan. She's already like my favorite artist in terms of at least my like 1 or 2 favorite artists in the game. But her songwriting is just stupid. Like, it's unmatched. That's why she's so successful, in my opinion. Like, everything else is to be talked about, but the songwriting is what makes her stand out, and you can't manufacture that no matter how hard you try. That's a God-given ability that for her like to be that good at writing songs. So yeah.
My pickup from what you just said, or what I'm taking away, is that basically kind of not being afraid to pivot or switch things up, even if it's last minute, because I feel like sometimes we can get like locked into things and we're like, okay, no, this is how it is, or this is how I want to do this project or whatever. But like, I guess not being afraid to like pivot or make those last minute adjustments to kind of get it right, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a declaration that like you have to like do anything. It's just everybody that's involved, everybody that's valuable, everybody that's talented gives their opinion, and then we decide like, hey, these drums ain't right. Let's fix it. Mm-hmm. We got to mix it tomorrow. Fuck it. Let's do it tonight at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, pivot, but it's also just like, you know, the best idea wins kind of thing. Best idea for the song. Don't be afraid to change some stuff. And if you gotta like, you know, make some stuff happen to change it real quick, last minute, get to it.
Akon actually came to your house one day.
That's such a ridiculous story. It's crazy because I got all these like really dope stories with all these like A-list celebrities, and you would think like I have like this really like, I guess I don't talk a lot about these stories because I'm not like super successful in terms of I guess like money and like fame and, you know, things that people I guess equate to success. But I have like incredible stories like this one. So when I first moved to LA, I was working with No ID's camp a little bit. No ID was kind of like Kanye's mentor. People know him in the hip hop industry, but produced Jay-Z's entire last album. Right. I was kind of working in his camp a little bit, like tangentially through somebody else. And I was in the studio one day. I think it was a studio in Santa Monica. I think it was Universal's music publishing studio. And there were some random like women in the studio. And I was like, what do y'all do? And I was like, I'm a singer. It was somebody else's session. So we couldn't really like play music in that session. So I was like, hey, you wanna come to my whip and listen to some music? I write songs, I produce, you know, I see opportunity. I'm like, hey, let's do some music together. And so we listened to some music. She's like, I like this song a lot. So we set up a time to record it. She came to my crib later to record the song, and we started working together. And like within like the first week of us working together, she was like, she's sitting in my house, and I lived like in Culver City at the time, which is like, if you don't live in LA, between Hollywood and the airport is Culver City. Mm-hmm. So you kind of go through Culver City to get to the airport, kind of. And she was like, on a random weekday, she's like, hey, do you mind if Acon stops by? I'm like, what? Yeah, whatever. Pull up. An hour later, Acon pulls into my driveway in like a black Escalade. Wow. I think by himself, because nobody else came to my house. She went outside to get him. He came in my crib, my 1-bedroom guest house apartment. And we listened to this song we recorded. And he was like, this is dope. Sounds like a Maroon 5 song. I was like, thank you, man. Appreciate it. I played him like 2 or 3 ideas. He said it was dope. And then they went outside to talk for a second. He dipped. I guess he was on his way to the airport. And he was leaving town or something, but they were linking up before he left or whatever. So yeah, that was pretty dope. And, you know, I guess it's little moments like that where you kind of feel like sometimes you just kind of spinning your wheels, like, are you about doing the right stuff? And then one day, you know, one of the biggest artists in the world is in your living room telling you your shit is dope. So before you ask, I guess that's kind of like a cool lesson from that. It's like you never know any day. Same thing with Punch. Like, just be prepared.
Yeah.
And when somebody pops up on you like, hey, what you got? Push play. If you can press play and impress them, or if you can show them that you're dope, it might change your life. That situation didn't necessarily change my life, but it was super cool. It's a dope story.
Yeah, absolutely. You've been recently playing with Tom Sandoval from Vanderpump Rules.
Yes.
He has a band and he tours all over the country, and you go with him.
Yeah.
Tell us how that all happened.
That, you know, I've been with that band now for like 3 years. Yes. Their music director, or our music director, Colin Diaz, met me through a friend and sent me a DM on Instagram and was like, we have 2 shows coming up they were being filmed for Vanderpump Rules actually, and we need a background singer. Like, are you available? This is the rate, And I was like, yeah, 2 shows I could do. I could do that. And it sounds easy. And then I met them all, fell madly in love with all of them, and it's been 3 years. So, and innumerable shows. I don't know how many at this point.
Wow, that's crazy.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and y'all have toured all over the country. How has that been? Like touring everywhere?
We've been everywhere. I keep saying we need to go to Canada. We need to get out of here and try somewhere else too. Yeah. But Vanderpump Rules is an American show.
Yeah.
So I think his fan base is here. But it's amazing. I love touring with them. I realized recently, like, we all travel really well together, and that's rare. Some people need a lot of particular care in the world.
Yes.
And all of us are pretty similar, We want a good meal. We want coffee in the morning. We're pretty quiet in quiet hours, but we do either a bus tour or van tours. Okay. So van tours, I'm not fun. I become really crabby and mean. I've learned that about myself.
Okay.
Yeah. Sleeping, I get evil if I don't sleep.
I imagine it's probably tough.
Most people. Yeah.
I mean, it's like you're kind of in confined spaces for long periods of time, traveling. That can be exhausting in and of itself.
Yeah, and you would think we would fight more though, but we all get along really well.
Oh, good.
It's nice.
Yeah.
It's not very juicy for the podcast though.
No.
I could make some stuff up.
Well,
should I? Yeah.
No. Well, I was going to ask you about though. I remember, so in my previous iteration of this podcast, you came and you talked to me, and we talked about there was a period where there was like scandal brewing on Vanderpump Rules with Tom and the whole thing.
Yeah.
And so there were some shows that actually got kind of hostile, right?
Yeah, the audience. Yeah. Because when you do a reality show, like that, there's like the competition shows, like The Voice is a competition show. So like you don't really want people's negative opinions on that show. Like that doesn't serve you. But for a show like Vanderpump Rules, like the audience is very invested, even if they don't like you. And Tom was in some hot water and they were mad at him. And I think people, when they watch a show like that, it becomes part of their lives. And it felt like they had been betrayed and like they were a part of it. And they really wanted to let him know that they felt it. And so they would come to our shows. And it'd be crazy because we would like sell out like these big places, and they were mad. They didn't like him, but they were there,
People, so wait. People came just to yell at him or just to like be mad.
They made shirts with mean things on it. They brought signs. We had to like start telling people like you're not allowed to bring signs. Like people at the door like checking for signs. Like, yeah. So it was like I'm sure everyone in the band has their own opinion on it, but like it was like very character building, like for all of us, I think. But like going up and being like, it doesn't matter, we're gonna perform anyways. We don't have a choice. Damn it. But it's luckily the tide has turned and people are very kind now. But it's just part of the reality game. I think like just being the audience's negative opinion of you is also part of the appeal.
Yeah, and I remember before you were also saying that kind of the audience even kind of came at you like in a show or two.
Yes,
like it came at you directly.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, but the thing is now in hindsight, I'm like, my name's Maddie.
Yeah,
and it was in Philadelphia, and they were cheering Maggie.
Oh,
and I don't know if they were going Maggie, but there was hate in their eyes. They hated me. And then they were throwing stuff on stage also. Oh, wow. So I'm not sure, because sometimes they'll be like, oh, like we like her to be like annoying to Tom, And then sometimes they just hate all of us. So I don't know what that's about. Oh, I don't know. But it hurt. It hurt me deeply. I did cry.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. It doesn't take a lot to make me cry, actually. I'm a crier. Yeah. It's good for the soul to cry, I think. Don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. But you talked about how it was character building, the whole process.
Yeah.
And I remember you telling me before about how Tom, even in the midst of the hostility, was still like, you know what, we're going out there and we're gonna, the show must go on, as they say.
He's really crazy though. Like he always like, no matter what, he's like, well, that's it. Like I think he's been in the game for so long. Like he really is such a professional. Like it doesn't matter. I have to perform. It's very cool. He's very cool. He's very resilient. He's a very resilient person.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other like lessons you like kind of learned from him, just kind of being around?
I mean, all of them. I mean, like yeah, Tom just like always gets up and like no matter what, like gets back up. Like it's cool to see how quickly he gets back up.
So as I was preparing for this, I was looking at your demo reel, and then I texted you. I was like, "Is that Angela Bassett?" It's like, wait, when was this? So tell us about acting with Angela Bassett.
That was great. You know, they like going in, I was a little nervous because it's like growing up watching this woman just chew scenery and just kill and murder scenes.
She's a legend.
And there's always the nerves that come with like meeting your heroes, because you're like, please be cool, please don't show a different face. And when I tell you, I got on set and she was just the most delightful human to be around. Like between the scenes was just as much fun as shooting the scenes themselves.
Yeah.
So, and when you're with somebody that you can learn from somebody like that just by sitting in close proximity for a little bit. And I've been fortunate with a few actors in my career where I've been able to kind of learn just by having to go against them or be in the scene, sharing those moments with them.
Dope. What would you say you learned from her?
I think just how natural she is. Like there is something about her that she is so in herself as far as like she knows exactly who she is and she sits in that presence. And because of that, there's almost no difference between the acting and between her living, because she has erased those lines where she can just live honestly in that moment. And it was amazing to see it in person and be across from it, because you're like, oh man, I'm trying too hard. It's like that. I don't need to try. I just need to be honest, which I think that translates across all art forms, music,
Absolutely.
acting, whatever. Like
Absolutely.
knowing yourself is a superpower, and it presents itself when you really sit in that.
Yeah, absolutely. And talk about her as a person. You mentioned it a little bit, and how in between the scenes she was nice and everything. Like, talk more about that.
Yeah, she like as we sat there, she just kind of asked questions, because a lot of it too is, and I learned this from her that I carried on to like when I led my own film and everything, was when you're with somebody that's coming into an environment you're already familiar with. There was like this comforting thing that she did. We're just like kind of getting to know us a little bit and just chopping it up and just keeping it really light. And that way it doesn't allow you to sort of get in your head, as we all tend to do, of like, okay, I hope the director likes this. And you don't have time to think about that, because she's just sort of like chopping it up with you and asking questions about you, and then telling jokes about some other actor that she knows that we all know on set, kind of a thing, But it just took a lot of the pressure off, and it didn't allow me to like get in my head.
That's amazing. That's super dope. That, like you said, sometimes when you meet your heroes, it can be a different way. And I hate hearing stories about famous people that I looked up to, and then you hear like they're assholes, or you hear this and that. But so it's amazing to hear that she is as pleasant as she seems, and as great as she seems, because like I said, she's a legend. Yeah. Like one of the GOATs in my opinion.
Absolutely.
So that's dope. Were there any big lessons, I guess, that you've taken away from some of these like panels and some of these things, like, or I guess just as being a part of the Recording Academy, what are some of the big takeaways or lessons that you feel like you've learned?
Okay. I would say number one, it's not unattainable. That was my biggest lesson. You can do it. Don't be afraid. Always try. Ask questions. You never know. That's number one.
Yep.
Number two is there's no rules to anything. The industry is like, I don't want to say non-existent, but it's just very different. I think most of us know that, but the landscape is different. So there's no rules. Like you can do you a million different ways. I think just staying true to yourself and your sound and your brand and whatever it is that you're focusing on is still really incredibly important and the most powerful. And you can always like find avenues and people and communities that get what you're doing. Yeah. It just takes time. Yeah. Patience perhaps is another lesson. Be nice. Because you never know who knows people and what people know, myself included. Yeah, just be a nice person, be professional, You don't got to be fake, but you know what I mean? Like that's important. Yeah. But honestly, nothing that's been like overly earth shattering. Like, unless, I mean, there's different, I'm not trying to be like a specifically pop star. I'm sure it'd be different if I was going for a different.
Sure.
Yeah. But because of the world of music that I spin in, and I love people who experiment and push buttons and stuff, I'm like, there's no rules. And being at like I went to the Grammys 2 years ago and found out that there's like a whole other ceremony that takes place before the televised one, for example, that every award, there's over 93 awards given out. And the televised one shows 15 of those. Right. So there's all these other awards, but all this other music and I found that so inspiring to be like, you know, spoken word and like global music and like jazz and classical and like Latin and like flamenco and like video game music and just all this other music is being awarded and recognized and all this stuff. So it's not just the little bit you see on main, you know, televised parts of the industry. There you can succeed in so many different areas of expression with music. You know what I mean? Yeah.
You've worked with a ton of big names in the industry.
Handful.
Yeah. And so I'm going to throw out some names that of people that you worked with. We'll start with Cynthia Erivo, who is killing the game right now. Wicked, obviously a massive cultural phenomenon. And so you had the opportunity to work with her?
Yeah, in a sense.
Okay.
It was one of those situations where I didn't actually get to meet her.
Okay.
But I did help make the track that she sang on. It's called Nobody. It was on the which one was that? I think it was Forbidden. Yeah.
Okay.
It was a Todrick Hall project called Forbidden.
Got you. Brandy
was dope. Actually worked with her a couple of times. Again through Todrick.
Okay. Chaka Khan.
So again, it's another Todrick project.
Tiffany Haddish.
Todrick actually asked us to be in the music video for this one, if we wanted to meet her or whatever. So we came through, and I'm actually in the music video for a few of the scenes. And she has to like twerk on me in the diner. It's kind of weird, but it's funny.
You mentioned Todrick Hall and all those situations. How did that relationship with him start?
So we met him through Bonzel Solomon, who was American Idol top 3, I think. Yeah, so he basically heard our music through her. And I remember, I think she gave him our number or whatever. He just called me one time. I remember I was on a run and I got a random call from a LA number, and I was like, oh, let me pick it up. And then it happened to be him. I was like, oh, snap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I got your information from Bonzel, blah, blah, blah. And he needed something recorded like in an hour or two because the video had to go up in the next 2 hours or so. And everything with him is super last minute, like super now.
Yeah.
So I run back home, and I think he beat me there, but Carl was there. And we recorded him, the song, and then I did a little bit of editing or whatever, mixing, and then sent it over. It was up within like 15 minutes after being done. It was crazy because he already had the video done and he already recorded like a demo, but he just wanted a better one. And so he just re-recorded what he did. They put it to the video and it was up like immediately. It was crazy.
Yeah, I remember last time we talked, you talked about the sense of urgency that Todrick has and how that kind of helps him be super productive.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. It's like, because you hyper focus on one thing, you know, like we need to get this done by tomorrow to catch some social media wave, or just because if I don't get it executed within the next 2 days, I'm going to not care about it and it's never going to get done.
Yeah. Yeah.
So while it's like super high energy, good frequencies or whatever, like in my brain, in my spirit, get it done. You know what I mean? Don't block out everything else and just tunnel vision on that.
Yeah.
And it really does work.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Grammy nomination, working with Lady Gaga.
I have the plaque in my home that states that I have been Grammy nominated.
Hey.
And I have to say, so the last voice you hear, besides Lady Gaga on her Chromatica album, and it was on Babylon, is me.
All right, so let's talk about Sinners.
Yeah.
You sang on that movie.
I did.
You also performed on Jimmy Kimmel,
I did.
and that was kind of attached to the movie.
It
as well,
was.
too.
It was.
Yeah.
It was a Sinner's performance. Yeah.
So with these experiences that we've talked about thus far, are there lessons you would say that you've learned from those things?
Of course, there's always a lesson. There's
Yeah.
always a lesson. Anything in my life is there's a lesson to it. I think the main lesson is to keep doing what I'm doing, to always, show up professionally, be kind, be open. It's not about, and a lot of times it's not about you. When you're supporting somebody, that's what you're doing. You're supporting them.
Yes.
So obviously, it's my time to shine or whatever, but I know my purpose on this earth is to shine light on others as well. So it is important to make sure that you do that, because then you'll get the calls. You'll get called back. I'm so grateful. Out of the 20 plus people that were in the session, I get the call, and I'm really grateful. And it's because of how I show up in life. So I'm to continue on that path and to never stray from what is good and honorable and what makes me proud. So yeah.
And when you say be open, explain.
Meaning be open to change, being open to things not going like you planned it, being open to for this example, that performance, you couldn't really see me. You could see my hair. You could hear me, but we were kind of backlit.
Yeah.
So, but that's the way, it wasn't about me. It was about those guys up there. They put this movie together. They were the movie. So it's important to adjust and be open to the present moment, because if you're thinking about other things or thinking about, oh, I wish I was this, I wish I had this, I wish I had the spotlight on me, that's not where I'm trying to live. I'm trying to be in this moment in the way that I'm supposed to be, which is right here on this stage, supporting and enjoying it.
Thank you so much for watching. If there was something in particular that you got out of this episode that resonated with you, definitely let us know in the comments. Please please subscribe. And if there's somebody who you think could get something out of this episode, go ahead and send it to them. We'll see you next time on What's the Key.